God is our source. give thanks for all my blessings. He gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. One more. God gives me everything I need.
Good morning. Thank you, Anji Kat is our special musician today with Martha Yorty showing off on the keys over there this morning. Yes. So welcome all of you who are in-house this morning. I see your bright smiling faces. Oh, well, okay, your eyes. And we're glad that you're with us this morning. And I also welcome those of you who are watching us virtually online, welcoming you also into our energetic connection, knowing wherever you are, God is, and we are connected in that knowing. And so, however you are joining us today, thank you for being here. For those of you who might be new to our center, we want to give you a warm welcome and be sure that you stop by our welcome desk, get some more information about us, let us know more about you and how we can serve you. You can also do that online to let us know more about you, unitydenver.org. New to Unity, contact us now. Connect with us. That's what it is. Luckily, I can't see how they're looking at me online, like, what is this lady talking about? But there are ways to do that both in-house and online is the point. So, thank you for being here. I haven't introduced myself. I'm still serving as your associate minister, Trish Morris, for a few more weeks till I get thrown to the wolves. Just kidding. Yeah, we'll talk more about that in just a moment. So I want to bring your attention to things that are happening that we want you to know about, particularly those of you who are watching online. If you have young people, right after our service at 11:15, our youth and family director, Natalie Simons, offers a fabulous lesson for our younger students. Living in Love is the theme today. I watched her the other day, and it was like a female Mr. Rogers. It was so sweet, and I couldn't help but smile and feel great. So I really appreciate what she offers there, and I hope you'll take advantage of that at 11:15 today. Also, just a reminder that we are, for the month of February, collecting household goods for veterans who have experienced homelessness who are moving into permanent housing. And this is a local organization that's taken that on and brings them boxes full of kind of essentials. Oftentimes they move in with just a backpack. So we're collecting items. There's information in your bulletin about what you can bring, and there's a full list out in the gathering space if you want to contribute to that. We encourage you to do that, and thank you for that. Our spiritually motivated social engagement team, said it right on the first time, is offering an opportunity to celebrate Black History Month with the contributions of African Americans. We are showing the movie Marshall that highlights the wonderful Supreme Court Justice. Infamous is what I was trying to say, but I came out with wonderful. Thank you for following me through my journey on my words. Thorogood Marshall, it highlights his early career, and so we'll be showing that on Friday the 25th and offering a time of discussion afterwards, so everyone is invited and encouraged to join us. It's PG-13, so if you have teenagers, you should be okay bringing them. And so we hope that you'll join us for that on Friday. And Sunday the 27th is our annual business meeting. It's an important meeting that we hold once a year to really look at our financial status, our financial, goodness sakes, no one gave me enough coffee. Our financial status, I think that's accurate, where we ended up last year, and sort of some highlights of what we did last year and what we're looking to do in the future, what we're holding for our vision for 2022. We'll also be electing 2 new council members, so voting members will be electing 2 new council members. But that is the only thing that really requires you to be a member. So if you're interested in attending, please do. And there will be a virtual option as well to join via Zoom if you're not in-house. We'll send that link out in your newsletter this week, so watch for that. Then the following Sunday, March 6th, David and I will be co-hosting a service on New Beginnings. That will be his last service with us. And so after that service, we have a special tribute planned for him, as well as a reception afterwards. So we hope that you will plan to stick around for that. You should have received, cover your ears, David. You should have received an email that told you all about it and how to RSVP and how to help. Okay, so we'll see you on March 6th. We're looking forward to celebrating you and honoring you. And that's all I have to say about what's coming up. All of that is also in your bulletin as well as other information, so I'm sure you'll be reading that. So I just invite you to say our creed with us. We affirm this together every Sunday as we bring our attention to this time and space and what we're here to experience together. So I invite you to say that with me. Our God is love. Our race is human. Our faith is oneness. And as you just continue to allow yourself to fully arrive in this space, taking a deep breath, I offer the sound of this crystal bowl that is tuned to our heart chakra to begin to open that heart space, dropping out of our head into our heart.
Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place.
Just invite you to take a deep breath into this place, this sacred space where love resides. And that space really is within each one of us. And so take a deep breath, feeling your connection with divine love, reminding yourself that you are an expression of that love right here, right now. And so as we ground into that place within us, we're reminded that we are infinitely guided and supported. And from this knowing, we have access to divine ideas, to divine guidance, to healing, to harmony, to peace. And so we just consciously and purposefully set our intention, our attention into that space within us. And as we do that, we can relax our concern, our sense of worry, our sense of planning, whatever that is that keeps us in our minds. We can relax into this time and space. And centered in our own truth, our own awareness of our divine essence, we connect with those around us, those in our community. We really connect heart to heart with all of creation. And may we consciously make a space and be a place for that divine love and peace and truth to reside. And so we breathe in, we breathe out, we allow ourselves to be fully present, fully supported, and fully connected with the truth that we are. And for this knowing, we give great thanks. And so it is. Amen.
Good morning. How are you this morning? Thank you for being here this morning. If I haven't met you, I am David Howard, currently serving as the senior minister here. And many of you know that I've been facilitating, and some of you participating, in a study of spiritual economics, Eric Butterworth's book. If you're new to Unity, anyone who's new to Unity and is not familiar with Eric Butterworth, I highly recommend anything that Eric Butterworth has written. We have some of his books in our bookstore. Just a very clear writer who speaks to us at whatever level, wherever we are, whatever level we are in our own development and our own consciousness. And I find that true anytime I go back and read some of his work. Well, most any author that's true about, but certainly with Butterworth, that I read something and I take it in at a totally different level, or I hear it at a totally different level. And so I, again, just recommend his books to you. And I want to share with you something that spoke to me as we were reading the book. He says, you can learn a helpful lesson from the lowly oyster. He is normally a very placid fellow, but occasionally little grains of sand work their way inside his shell and begin irritating him. Naturally, he tries to get rid of them, but when he discovers he can't do this, he settles down and produces one of the most priceless and beautiful things in the world. He turns the irritation into a pearl. So no matter what the difficulty, the loss, the financial adversity, if you are feeling negative, get busy pearling. By the quote, all things work together for good principle, any experience of life can become the best thing that ever happened to you. Haven't you said or heard someone say, I was certainly upset about that challenge, but now I see it in retrospect, it was the best possible thing that could have happened. It is occasionally said of alcoholism, drug addiction, bankruptcy, or unemployment. But why wait? Why not accept the possibility right when the event occurs? Why not pick out the most difficult thing facing you right now and say, I want you to close your eyes for a moment and imagine something in your own life that you perceive as a challenge. Something that has come up for you, some disruption in your life, something that you might be experiencing right now. And I want you to just have an image of that and listen to Butterworth's words. Take it in as your own. I know that this is the best thing that could happen to me, for I know that in the happening there is revealed a new lesson to learn and some new growth to experience. I know that within me is an unborn possibility of limitless potentialities, and this is my opportunity to begin to give birth to new ideas, new strength, and new vision. I accept the reality of the difficulty, but not its permanence. I am not at the end of anything. I am simply between opportunities. I know that in the movement of it has come to pass, something wonderful is on its way to me, far surpassing anything I have ever known before. And if I shall feel the slightest irritation of fear or anxiety, I will say to myself, all right, let's get busy pearling. So take a breath. Breathe into that awareness. Allow yourself to embrace the potentiality, the possibility of whatever is happening in your life at this very moment. Breathe into it, see it, feel it, allow it, and let it be. And so it is.
Empty canvas, blank page. Do you keep those colors in a cage? Break the rules, suffer the fools. Freedom is the way you choose. When everything you think you know keeps dragging you down below. Release, release it, let it go, and let your life unfold. Open your eyes, arms wide. You are meant for the skies. Feet on the ground, are you still bound? Are you ready to live out loud? Everything you think you know keeps dragging you down below. Release, release, let it go, and let your life unfold. Who named you? Who told you the sky was blue? How do you know what is false and what is true? Rewrite your story, speak a new word. The power is within you. I'm going to invite you guys to sing along with me for just a little bit. It goes like this. Release, release it, let it go. Join me. Release, release it, let it go. Whatever's on your heart, release, release it, let it go. One more. Release, release it, let it go. Swim the deep end, let your heart mend. You are bigger than you pretend. Don't look down, cast away the doubt. Rise up and take up your crown. When everything you think you know keeps dragging you down below.
Thank you, Angie. Beautiful song. You wrote that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Brand new. Oh, awesome. Thank you for sharing it with us. Elle, I'm probably just going to start down here. So, you know I'm going to make it down here anyway, so I might as well just start down here. All right. So, I was talking to a friend earlier this week, a friend who lives in Hawaii. And I said, well, what's it like there today? And he said, oh, it's just so warm and beautiful and sunny, and there's a nice breeze. And he said, now, what's it like there? And I said, well, I looked out the window and it said, it's kind of gray and it's cold, and you know what? It's snowing here. And I'm sure I said it like, oh my God, it's snowing again, you know? And we both, in that moment, just immediately, almost in unison, said, and isn't it just a matter of perspective? And yes, isn't that how life is? That life really is a matter of perspective. How we perceive anything that goes on in our lives, or how we perceive anything that goes on in the world, really depends on our point of perspective. The place from which we are viewing it. It's physical too. The point at which I'm perceiving, my perception of something is dependent on my perspective. The same thing with our consciousness. How we perceive anything depends on our consciousness, the perspective from which we are viewing it. And as I thought about this week, I was reminded of how those things work sometimes. You ask the question about it, and you start to ponder, what does it mean? What does that really mean about life is about perspective? It's a matter of perspective. And I was reminded of a book that I read a long time ago by Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith. The book is about life visioning. But in the book, he talks about these different, I don't really like calling them levels, but these different perspectives from which we often view our lives. And I've heard it talked about in different ways, but he talks about them in this way of things happen to me, things happen by me, that things happen through me, and then the things happen as me. And it's sort of this progression. It's an evolution of our consciousness that happens, but it's not a linear kind of thing. Anyway, let me just talk a little bit more about what I mean. Is that sometimes we can look at life from this place of a victim consciousness. We can believe that things happen to us, that there is an external power that has control over us. So it might be the economy, it might be the government, it might be our parents. I might say from my own experience, I'm limited in my experience because my father was an alcoholic. Or I'm limited in my experience because my mother wasn't available. So I see myself as a victim of circumstances. And I believe that in some way that there's something outside of me that is controlling my experience. Now, let me just say this about that. And this is something I struggled with this week as I contemplated this, because we all know that there are people in the world who are victimized. There are people in the world who are victimized by other people, whether that's abuse or people are victimized by the system, the structure. People are victimized by other people. So I'm not discounting that or saying that that's not true. What I want to express is that there is a difference between being victimized and being a victim. or seeing ourselves as a victim. I learned something new this week, or maybe it was last week, I don't remember exactly, but I learned something new. I was watching something on television. I can't even tell you now what it was. And somebody referred to people who were captured in Africa and brought to this country centuries ago and made to work on plantations and be in servitude as slaves. And I had always thought of people, African people who were brought to this country as slaves. But what someone said that, and another person corrected them and said, no, don't call them slaves. They were enslaved people. Enslaved people. It's a subtle shift in consciousness, but I think it's an important shift in consciousness. Because when we label someone, or we label someone that, like we don't talk about a homeless person. That a more correct way of talking about that is a person experiencing homelessness. So, like I said, it's a subtle shift. But when we consider ourselves a victim, we can live in victim consciousness and are disempowered in that. We may still be victimized, but we don't have to continue to see ourselves as a victim. Now, also, I'm not saying that it is not ours to do to help situations in which people are being victimized. I think we do have a responsibility, a spiritual responsibility to do what we can to assist people and to help to end structures and systems in which people are being victimized. But there's that difference between being victimized and saying, I am a victim. We may even think sometimes that we're a victim, that God is out to get us, or I can't catch a break. Or there's also that idea, and again from this sort of religion, this religious sort of dogma that the devil is out to get me. There's some force of which I am being a victim of. And what I want to say, that I was reminded too of this quote from Viktor Frankl, who was, as you probably know, a Jew in Nazi Germany in a concentration camp, along with millions of other Jewish people who were victimized by the Nazis in Germany. But Viktor Frankl has this famous quote that says, everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. And so I recognize again, I've said this before, I speak very often from a privileged perspective, that I haven't experienced the victimization that many other people have experienced and continue to experience. So I can't say I know. I believe. And I believe there is empowerment in helping people to understand that, yes, you might be victimized, but please don't see yourself or be entrapped in this idea that you are and will always be a victim. There's also a piece of that is so important in every spiritual tradition that can help free us up. If you are in any way right now considering seeing yourself as a victim, I know it's trite and overused, but this idea and this practice of forgiveness is so important. It's not about letting somebody off the hook. It's not about saying it didn't happen. But forgiveness is about setting ourselves free. Setting ourselves free. You don't have to like the other person. You don't have to like the situation. You don't have to like the system. But as long as we continue to see ourselves as victims of any person, any situation, then we are the ones who are being disempowered in that. So, I won't get into the practice of forgiveness, but there's so many different ones. If you know about Ho'oponopono, it's a very powerful practice if you really go into it. So maybe look that up, but that's not really what I was thinking I was talking about today. But forgiveness is an important practice. Another phase of this idea of perspective and perceiving life is this idea that many of us in New Thought have also sort of grown into. This idea that things happen by me, or somehow I am empowered, I can create what I want, I can have what I want. That through my thinking, through my feeling, we teach that we create our life experience through the way we think and the way we feel, and I always add to that the way we act, what we do. We create our life experience. That's one of the 5 principles. And I think that it's an important phase of our conscious understanding and our conscious spiritual growth, that we do understand the laws of the universe. We begin maybe with parking spaces. Anybody ever start with that? I create a parking space. I manifest. I'm manifesting my life. I'm creating my life. I'm taking charge over my thinking and my feeling. And I can create whatever I want. I think that's true, and it's an important piece to moving out of any idea of a victim consciousness to even embrace this idea of a victor consciousness, if you want to call it that. I do have some power. I do have some control. And begin to learn that and begin to embrace that and begin to practice that. But I think there's also some potential pitfall in that. One is that we get stuck in that. One is that we only focus on what I want, what I can create, how I want my life to be. I can focus only on my own ideas and my own desires. That's one of the pitfalls we can fall into. We can fall into getting stuck in that phase of consciousness. And I think for some of us, it's important, again, it's an important stage, but it's a stage that we can practice, we can learn, we can grow in. But I encourage us not to let that be where we stop. The other pitfall that I can find in that way of seeing life is that we may think if things don't turn out the way we want them to, that we're doing it wrong or it's not working. That somehow these spiritual principles, these spiritual truths, or these universal laws don't work for me. They may work for you. We look at Myrtle Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, and we look at her as a beautiful example of someone who was able to use her mind, her heart, her spirit, and the laws of the universe to heal her body. She took that to mind. I am a child of God and do not inherit illness. And she believed that. She took it in. She embodied it. She used that and used the power of her mind to heal. Well, we can look at her and say, well, she did it, but it's not working for me. And then we blame ourselves. And then we get back into a victim consciousness of ourselves. We can begin to resent ourselves, begin to blame ourselves, begin to feel guilty. And so I think it's important to understand we do have some power. We do have some control, but we don't have total control. We don't have total control over what happens in our lives. We are co-creating this experience. We don't live in a vacuum. We are affected by things around us. We are a part of the whole. We don't have dominion over everything. The Bible tells us that we are given dominion over the things of the earth. But metaphysically, what we understand that to mean is that we are given dominion over our own thinking, our own feeling, our own actions. We have control not over everything that happens out here, we have control over what happens in here. And so it's an important development of our understanding and our consciousness of how we are viewing the world. And then we can move into what I believe I remember Beckwith talks about as this consciousness of through me. And in some ways, in some other terminology, I've heard that called the vessel consciousness. You know, there's the victim, there's the victor, and then there's the vessel. Where we understand, we begin to give up. I don't like that word. We begin to understand that we're not in control of everything. We begin to come into the consciousness of yielding, recognizing that there is a power, a presence. For whatever name you call that, God, source, life, universe, it doesn't really matter what you call it, as long as it has meaning for you. And as long as it resonates with you, it doesn't matter the name. But we begin to understand that there is order in the universe that I didn't create. There's something that created and makes the planets in our solar system just move in order and harmony. There is something that is behind these laws of the universe. There's something that makes it all work. And I have the opportunity to yield in some way to that. To allow that to, I don't really like this, what conjures up in my mind, but what comes to me in the moment is that Ricky Byers Beckwith song, Use Me. You know, use me, oh God, I stand for you. Here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. It's like Jesus in the garden. If it be your will. I don't want to do this, but not my will. But the higher will be done through me. And like Mary, when she accepted that she was to give birth, be it done through me, be it done unto me. Let me be the vessel. Let life move me. And we begin to understand that we are part of this something bigger. And that we may not even, in the victim stage, it's all about, it's happening to me. In the victor stage, I'm in control of it. I can make it happen. In the vessel, sort of, it happens through me. Consciousness, the way I'm perceiving life is, I may not even, I don't understand. I may not understand. I'm like Mary, I don't understand. I don't really get it. It doesn't make sense to me. However, let it happen. I'm willing. I love something, I've never heard it before, don't remember hearing it before, but Beckwith says, sometimes we say where there's a will, there's a way. He says where there's a will, there's a wall. I love that. Where there's a will, there's a wall. So am I willing to release what I think should be in that victor stage? I know what I want. I can make it happen. I can do it. And letting go and trusting that all is happening in divine order. I was talking to someone last week. It was Alex. About that, about divine order. And I don't know who said it, but it was like, sometimes God's timing sucks. Because it's not in alignment with my timing. It's not in alignment with what I think should happen. But my opportunity is to view life as unfolding in perfect order, even though it may not go along with my idea of how it should be. And then the final expression of that, or consciousness that he talks about, is what he calls as me. I've also heard that called verity, the verity consciousness, where you know that there is only one. And to be perfectly honest with you, I have struggled, ooh, I don't like that word. I have been, I have struggled trying to find words to even describe that consciousness, to talk about it. Because I think it is beyond words. It's beyond description. The best I could find is where Jesus says, the words I speak are not my words. They're the words of the one who sent me. That which I do, it's not me. It is God, Source, Spirit, acting, doing as me. And I think that many of us have had, I'm guessing, many of us have had experiences like that, where we recognize that we may have been in a situation, we may have said something, we may have done something, and then we know it wasn't us, we know it wasn't something that we consciously know or maybe consciously did. But we know that in that space, something was acting, speaking, thinking, hearing as us. And I was reminded of the Paul's letter to the church at Corinth, and Many times we read this at weddings at 1 Corinthians 13. But 1 Corinthians 13:12, this is what he says. Now I know you've heard this many times, now we see through a glass, darkly. But then, face to face. Now, I only know in part. But then shall I know, even as I am known. And it struck me that in that place of the consciousness of as me, we can see clearly beyond our filters. And what we see is as though we are truly seeing God face to face. That there's nothing to get in the way of that. There's no idea of separation. There's no concept of a me that is separate from the whole. And in that space, there is that, it goes beyond thinking, it goes beyond belief, it goes into that knowing that Paul talked about. And I know, even as I am known. It's where the knower knows itself through my awareness or your awareness. It's where what we might call love, as I talked about last week, knows itself through your perception and experiences itself through your perception. Or peace, or joy, knows itself consciously in the moment. Can you bring to mind a time when you may have had a similar experience, where you knew that there was no separation? It may have been a fleeting moment. It may have been an extended time. But when we can perceive life from that consciousness, that everything happens and everything is perfect. There is no problem. Can you imagine? There is no problem. There's nothing to solve. There's nothing to figure out. There's nothing to understand. Does that sound too far-fetched to most of us? There's just nothing but God. And so I share that because I think it is important. Not in that, again, it's not that I live in, I'm somehow in this victim consciousness and then I somehow expand or I evolve into this victor consciousness and then I evolve into this vessel consciousness and then I evolve into this verity consciousness. It's not that it works that way. I don't mean to imply that. But I think it's important for us to understand that we can choose how we perceive life. And those are just examples, just 4 examples of how we might perceive life. But let me also say that it's not as though we arrive suddenly at this verity consciousness and that's how we perceive life forever. I don't think it works that way. I think we're always sort of flowing between. Sometimes we flow into victim consciousness. Yesterday I was trying to figure out how to cancel a subscription to Vimeo, and I could not figure it out. They don't make it easy. Believe me, I was getting into some victim consciousness. So we flow into that. Maybe there's some area of your life when you are sort of in that place. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm not judging that. I'm just saying, and what I'm bringing to us today is that what's important in that is to recognize, to be aware of where I am in that. Am I living in a victim consciousness in some aspect of my life? Can I choose to shift first maybe into that victor consciousness where I do take back my power and flow between those for a little while in that particular area of my life? Finances, relationships, whatever that might be. And maybe eventually I can move into that. I'm a vessel, and so I am yielding, trusting, knowing that even though it may not look the way I think it should look, it's all working in divine order. And maybe at some point in all of that, and it may just be this glimmer of recognition of, all I see, all I know is love. All I know is peace. All I know is joy. All I know is God. Because that is all there is. And then I go online again and I'm all the way back to victim consciousness. But the important piece of that is that we do have the ability to choose. But first, it's important for us to be aware of where we are. Where are we living? And do we choose to live there? Where do we choose to live? And yes, too, it may take some help. I'm not suggesting we do this simply through the power of meditation, although I think that's so helpful. But we may need help. So get the help. Ask for the help. Receive the help. Open to that. And then make conscious choices about where we want to live and how we want to experience life. So another way of interpreting that principle of unity is that we experience life according to our thinking and feeling and acting. Our consciousness, our perspective determines how we perceive what happens in our lives. And we get to choose. All right, I know I'm repeating myself now, so I will stop. So let's take a moment, take a breath. Come into the awareness of the now. Be here now, in this moment. Breathe into your heart. Breathe into that place of conscious awareness where you choose where to focus your awareness. Take a moment and focus your awareness on your body. Feel the chair supporting you. Feel your feet against the floor. Feel the temperature of the air in the room. Take a moment and focus your attention and awareness on your thinking. Without attaching, just be aware that you're thinking. Take a moment and bring your awareness to your feeling nature. Again, not attaching, not establishing meaning, just being aware. Let it be. And bring your attention once again to any situation in your life that you might find to be somewhat challenging, disturbing. And bring your awareness to the consciousness in which you are living with that. Am I living in a victim consciousness? Am I trying to control it through my thinking and my feeling? Am I trying to make it be what I want it to be? Am I living in this vessel consciousness of yielding to the higher order, the divine that is flowing in and through and all? Am I willing to say, not my will, but thy will be done through me? And let go and let God be God in and through me. Am I understanding that all is God? There is no problem. There is nothing to solve or figure out. It's all God. And I am open to inspiration, guidance, in that place of deep knowing. And then allow yourself, in that awareness, to make a conscious choice. Is this where I want to remain? Is this where I want to stay? Is this how I want to perceive this situation? Am I willing to make a shift? It may be a subtle shift, incremental shift, but am I willing to see it differently? To have a different perspective? So take a deep breath, breathe into that. Just know where you are in the moment. Without judgment, just be. Allow it to be revealed. And in whatever experience we are having, know that it too is God. It is God experiencing an aspect of itself through your conscious awareness. God awakening unto itself in this moment as you. So breathe, rest, allow, simply be. If we take just a short time in silence, So take another conscious breath, breathing your awareness back into this space. Feel the energy surrounding you. Feel the love enfolding you. And when you're ready, just open your eyes, coming back into the now as we sing together.
I am open to my good right now. I am open to my good. I am open to my good right now. I am open to my good. I am open to my good. I accept all my good right now. I accept all my good. I accept all my good right now. I accept all my good. I accept all my good. I am thankful for my good right now. I am thankful for my good. I am thankful for my good right now. I am thankful for my good. I am thankful for my good.
Let's take a breath. Are you here? Are you present? All right, amen. So now is a time when we have an opportunity to share from our good to support the ministry here at Unity Spiritual Center Denver. Those of you who are watching online, right there on your screen are some options of ways for you to give. I just want to say thank you to all of you who give in many different ways. We so appreciate your generosity and your commitment to this ministry. So let's say together our offertory blessing. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am thankful.
Simple and plain, no superpowers, no famous name, but I stand tall, 'cause I believe something greater has come alive in me. I have felt the Spirit stirring in my soul, deep in my soul. I will give love, I will speak peace, all because of the love that's got a hold of me. So wide open, so amazing, it takes my breath away when it occurs to me. In a world where so many feel lost, I know God. I am one, but I'm not alone. When I'm with you, I am whole. Side by side, we find the truth. When the Spirit in me meets the same in you, I have felt this fire burning hold of me. So wide open, so amazing, it takes my breath away when it occurs to me. In a world where so many feel lost, I know God. I will give love, I will speak peace, all because of the love that's got a hold of me. So wide open, so amazing, it takes my breath away when it occurs to me. In a world where so many feel lost, in a world where so many feel lost, in a world where so many feel lost, I know God. I know God.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Angie. And thank you all for being here as well. Thank you for being here, and thank you those of you who are watching online, wherever and whenever you might be watching this. We so appreciate you. And I wanted to ask, did somebody put the prosperity frog up here? Where did that come from? It's a Chinese prosperity frog. I love it. So thank you for whoever put it up here. We'll just hold that vision for prosperity overflowing here at Unity Spiritual Center, Denver. So Trish reminded me to let you know Ken Reinhardt is here. He's taking some photos today to update our website, to have some new photos on our website. So if you want to, I don't know if he wants to take photos with you or your mask on. Maybe there are ways that you can take photos without people's mask on. I don't know how that's going to work. But anyway, he's here taking photos, and so I want to let you know that. If you don't want your photo taken, you may just want to let him know that. So let's say our closing prayer together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. As light, I illumine my world. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. As love, I live empathy, understanding, and compassion. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. As power, I co-create a world of love, unity, and equality for all. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. As presence, I stand in truth in every circumstance. Wherever we are, God is. Amen. And now let's sing our closing song. Love can move the world as the moon in the sky moves the sea. Love can cause the wars to cease. Love can move this world to peace. It's a tide that begins with you and me. Love can move the world as the warmth of the sun moves the trees. Feel the winds of love increase as we move this world to peace. Come love the world with me.